Hey guys, good morning. Happy Monday. It's Monday here when I'm recording this, but happy whatever day it is that you're watching this video. Thank you so much for joining in with me. I'm so happy to have you guys here. As you guys can see, we're in a little bit of a different environment, okay? We're actually in my bedroom. This is the first time I'm ever recording in this newer bedroom, which is weird, so bear with me. I want to record a lot more up here only because I want my videos to be a little bit more intimate and, a little bit more close, right? So I think this is a good place to do it, especially right here on the couch, but I may like switch up the angle or whatever. But y'all didn't ask for all that. How y'all doing? Y'all doing good? I am doing great. I have some coffee right here that is long overdue because I have been up for quite a bit. Hold on while I take a sip. Hold on. Surprisingly good. I wasn't expecting because I don't have my almond milk creamer. So I just used a little bit of soy milk hoping that it would be good, and it's actually good. All right, guys, as promised, I'm back to talk to you guys about stillness. I think it was 2 videos ago. I did a video entitled You Only Have Now. And I talked to you guys about several things, but basically how stillness reduces anxiety. And I told you guys it was going to be like a brief overview of how stillness, or just the idea, the principle, the life principle of stillness really helps to shape the lens in which I look at life. And also it just helps to reduce my anxiety as it relates to the future. I told you guys, I think in the last video, if I didn't, I'm telling you now, I am one that is obsessed about the future, obsessed about what's coming, obsessed about, where I'm headed. That's just me. How many of you guys are like that? Let me know down below. I'm always thinking about what my next move is. What direction am I headed in? How do these steps or these small decisions that I'm making right now, how do they shape the future that I want? And are they, sort of pointing me in that direction? I'm just that type of person that is obsessed with what's coming. Consequently, can really give me anxiety and make me very unhappy with where I am right now. And like I mentioned in that last video, I learned through this book that we're going to talk about that it's so important to appreciate the present because it's the only thing you ever have. And reading that and agreeing with that made me realize that I don't have tomorrow because it's not here yet. The past is already gone, so I definitely don't have that anymore. All I have is right now, and so that's what I really should hold on to and find comfort in, right? So the book that we're talking about today is this book right here, and it's called Stillness Speaks by Eckhart Tolle. I finished reading this book a little while ago now, and when I tell you, it's definitely been one that has been life-changing for me. I will go ahead and leave a link to this book down below. I bought mine on Amazon. This book was recommended to me, and I'm so glad I took that recommendation. That particular person always recommends good books, and it seems to be exactly what I need, and I definitely needed this book when I read it. And so if you're unfamiliar with Eckhart Tolle, he really is a spiritual teacher is how I would describe him. For those of you guys who already come from different schools of thought, I don't think him as a spiritual teacher sort of draws you away from whatever your religious belief is. However, he gives you sort of these lenses in which to look through when it comes to life and really helps to shape your perspective. So if you're not one that believes in, quote, I want to say like the mainstream religion, which really would be Christianity. He's not, of course he references those things, but that's not the only thing he references. He references spiritual figures from other religions and denominations as well. But it's not so much that. It's really, he teaches you a better way to live life, right? A better way to look at life. And that's what I really appreciate him for, and have definitely love his books. And I would recommend them. A lot of you guys have recommended some of the other books that I haven't read so far. If you guys have any suggestions, definitely let me know down below and we'll talk about it. I wouldn't say this is a formal book review because it's really not. I'm just sharing with you guys the things that I've learned through this book and this particular time period in my life. So last time we talked about how stillness helps to reduce anxiety. So if you missed that, then we'll definitely watch that video that I did a little while ago, maybe like 2 weeks ago, like 2.5 weeks ago, entitled You Only Have Now. Today I want to talk about how stillness gives you another thing, and that other thing, besides reducing anxiety, it gives you clarity. So the quote that I want to give you guys here is a quote that I got from the book. He quoted someone else, and this is what the quote says: "The quieter you become, the more you can hear." I'm going to say it one more time for y'all in the back that didn't hear it, okay? It says, the quieter you become, the more you can hear. Stillness gives you clarity. I'm doing this video, hold on. I feel the tears coming. Hold on, coffee break. Hold on, y'all. What I gathered about stillness, there are many ways you can practice stillness. I'm going to finish my thought, but just give me 1 second. Let me just develop it a little bit. There are many ways you can practice stillness, and one of the ways is through meditation. I really think this practice helps you to appreciate the only thing you have, and that is the now moment, right? The current moment. Another practice that I have developed through stillness is literally blocking out the ego, that voice, that annoying voice, that narrator in your head that always seems to lean toward the negative. So yesterday something happened to me, and immediately I started to think all these negative thoughts, like the ego just went off, right? And the practice that I just automatically went to without thinking about it, and it's something that I haven't had to do in a long time, that this book really helped to get me to again, was stopping and focusing on the current moment, right? Because already my mind was going, well, what if this and that, and woe is me, and this, and sort of playing that victim, because your mind likes to be the victim, kind of like all these people are against me, and this is all working together in order to get me down, and all this. We can sort of play that victim a lot, and we just let our minds just run off and creating this fantasy. So, sorry guys, I actually have a robe on. I'm comfortable, okay? Creating this little world where you are the damsel in distress, and all these monsters and everything, they're after you, right? And I had to sort of just stop, block all those thoughts, and come right back to the middle, back to center, and focus on the moment that I had right now. Focus on the breath that is being breathed into my lungs and out of my lungs. The fact that I'm blinking and I have no conscious awareness of it. The fact that before I can think it, my hands are already moving. The fact that I can even think these things. And for a moment, I separated myself from the person or the awareness that's thinking these thoughts, right? And was able to empty, right? And in that emptiness, I got peace. And of course, I immediately prayed. I started praying, immediately prayed, because being able to stop in your tracks, and getting those thoughts removed and having a rush of emotions at one time can be really overwhelming and exhausting for a personality like mine. And of course, immediately in stopping in the moment and stopping the thoughts and sitting down and getting centered and praying and sitting in the stillness relieved my immense anxiety at that time. And shortly after then, I was able to gain clarity, true perspective on the situation, instead of subscribing to those negative thought patterns, and instead of subscribing to that sort of victim mentality that I felt myself diving into as I was in that situation yesterday. Some of you may be faced with some pretty big decisions right now, whether it be what school you're going to attend, or what career path you want to choose, or, should you leave your current job right now? Should you start this business? Is right now the right time to have children? Should I marry this guy? Should I marry this woman? A lot of you may have some big decisions ahead of you, and sometimes when you look at it, it seems overwhelming. It seems you have all these thoughts on both sides coming from you at all angles, and you feel overwhelmed. I challenge you to bask in the stillness of the moment. And in that moment, you will gain clarity. A lot of the times, a lot of us ask us, how do we hear? How do we hear God? How do we hear him? There's a text that says that basically describes God's voice as still and small, right? And, in the Bible, there's plenty of ways that God manifests himself, and spoke through fire and spoke through but I think still small voice is a great way to describe this this awareness that you have, this God voice, this God speaking to your heart. And a lot of times to access that, to hear God's voice, you need to be still. And the more you practice the stillness, the better you get at hearing the voice, because you're able to recognize it. And that's why I think, meditation is so important, because it gets you to, quiet all the voices and quiet the ego, hush the ego, and empty the mind. And you get this sense of peace is not the word that I would use to describe this moment, but language fails me. But that's like the word that I would use to describe that moment. And in that moment, it's like what a massage feels like to the body after the body has been through a day of hard labor. And if anything, and if you're watching this and you're like, Patricia, I have no idea what you're talking about. I've never meditated in my life. What is meditation? And I think really it's a broad term, and everyone really does it in their own way. But if I could just reduce it to this and say, if just a few moments a day, you practice turning off your thoughts. And let me tell you how to do it initially, is to focus on one thing. And when I first was getting started, the thing that helped me the most was focusing on my breath, focusing on the air going in and the air going out. Focus. It's going to feel like work in the beginning. Focus on it. Focus on the breath. Breathe it in and breathe it out, and find yourself a quiet place. I like meditational music. And so I like to listen to like 528 hertz. The frequency for like inner conflict and anti-anxiety, cleanse, things like that help me. But I actually would suggest in the beginning that you don't even do that, but that you just turn no music, quiet place, your prayer closet, and take 5 minutes to focus on your breath. You will find in the beginning, this used to happen to me a lot. I actually used to fall asleep, because that's how much comfort and relaxation that you get from it. And the more you do it, the more it will become easier to you. But I plan on doing like a whole separate video on that. If you guys would appreciate that, definitely let me know down below. But this video, I really just wanted to focus on the fact that you gain clarity in those quiet moments, because you're able to focus on what's important. And when you have that voice quiet for a little bit, then you get some checking. You're like, you know what? It's not that big of a deal. Or you know what? That's wrong. I need to be doing this. Or you know what? This is right. It feels right. I know it's right. God's telling me this is right. And you're able to move forward with confidence. Like I mentioned in the last video, yes, stillness reduces your anxiety and gives you peace, right? But it also gives you clarity. And with clarity, there's peace too. When you know how to move or what decision to make or where to go, and you feel confident about it, it also gives you peace. Before I go, guys, I just want to share with you guys a few of my favorite quotes from the book, besides the first one that I read to you. And here they are. Sometimes, this is on page 87, sometimes surrender means giving up trying to understand and becoming comfortable with not knowing. Oh, how true is that? And here's another one. Surrender becomes so much easier when you realize the fleeting nature of all experiences, that the world cannot give you anything of lasting value. You then continue to meet people, to be involved in experiences and activities, but without the wants and fears of the egoic self. That is to say, you no longer demand that a situation, person, place, or event should satisfy you and make you happy. Its passing and imperfect nature is allowed to be. And the miracle is that when you're no longer placing an impossible demand on it, every situation, person, place, or event becomes not only satisfying, but also more harmonious and more peaceful. And the last one, this is the miracle. Behind every condition, person, or situation that appears bad or evil lies concealed a deeper good. That deeper good reveals itself to you through inner acceptance of what it is. It is through accepting the present as it is that the deeper good of the situation. You know how in Romans 8, it talks about all, it says all things work together for the good of them who love the Lord, who are called according to his. But that good, that silver lining reveals itself when you learn to accept things as they are. And acceptance doesn't mean you don't want it to change, but realizing that this is what it is and that's what it is right now. Through this acceptance, you're giving clarity of the situation. You're able to see that silver lining. You're able to see the good through it. I hate my job, but it's teaching me leadership skills. That's a personal thing. If y'all follow me on Snapchat, y'all already knew. My kid's acting out right now, but it's teaching me patience. Things like that. You're able to see the lesson. You're able to see the silver lining. You're able to see the good when you learn to accept things as they are right now in the presence. And as you accept them, as you dwell in this principle of stillness and acceptance and appreciation of the now, it opens up and gives you clarity so that you're able to see clearly and look at the situation for what it is, not as your ego perceives it, but as it truly is in its truest form. And that's what it's done for me. And let me tell you, there's so much peace in that. Thanks for joining me today, guys. That's really all that I have to share with you. Let me know your thoughts and feelings down below. I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys. I love you guys so much, and you guys know that. I'll see you guys soon with another video. And as always, God bless.